Apple's entry into China was a bold gamble on a nation of over a billion, modernizing at breakneck speed. China wasn't just another market, it was the market, with the power to redefine Apple's global standing. Apple recognized early that success in China could mean explosive growth. But it wasn't just about selling iPhones. China was also the backbone of Apple's manufacturing empire. The country's vast factories and skilled labor made it indispensable to Apple's global supply chain. Beyond production, the sheer scale of Chinese consumers was irresistible. Millions of potential customers year after year. Apple set out to make the iPhone a status symbol, a must-have for China's rising middle class. For a time, the dream became reality. The iPhone's sleek design and ecosystem captivated Chinese buyers, turning Apple stores into urban landmarks. Apple's brand became synonymous with quality and innovation, woven into the fabric of modern Chinese life. This wasn't just about sales, it was about cultural impact. Apple's early success in China became a global business case study in market entry and brand building. Other multinationals watched closely, eager to learn from Apple's playbook and its missteps. The story highlighted both the immense opportunities and the looming risks of doing business in China. Apple's deep entanglement with China showed how a tech giant could become inseparable from a single, powerful nation. The early chapters brimmed with optimism and record-breaking sales. But beneath the surface, the partnership was always more complex than it seemed. Apple's China dream set a high bar and foreshadowed the challenges to come. The world was watching, as Apple's fortunes in China became a bellwether for global business. The stage was set for a saga of ambition, adaptation, and unexpected twists. Thriving in China meant more than selling popular gadgets. It required a careful partnership with Beijing. Apple, despite its global power, had to play by China's rules to access the market and keep its manufacturing humming. This meant major concessions, especially around data. When China demanded that user data be stored locally, Apple complied, partnering with Guizhou Cloud Big Data to run iCloud for Chinese users. This move put Chinese user data under Chinese law, a stark contrast to Apple's privacy stance elsewhere. Apple's balancing act was on full display, publicly touting privacy, while quietly meeting government demands. In the first half of 2024, Apple complied with 95% of China's 1,212 device data requests, covering a staggering 365,980 devices. The company's high compliance rate showed its willingness to adapt, even if it meant operating under a different set of rules. Apple's approach in China was pragmatic: cooperate to survive and thrive, even if it meant tough compromises. The world took note as Apple's alliance with Beijing became a defining feature of its China strategy. The cost of access was clear. Success in China came with strings attached. Apple's compliance with government data requests in China stands in sharp contrast to its approach elsewhere. In early 2024, Apple complied with 95% of Chinese device data requests, but only 85% in the US. The scale was different too. China's requests covered hundreds of thousands of devices, while US requests were more targeted. A single Chinese request could sweep in hundreds of devices, reflecting the broad reach of local authorities. Apple's transparency reports, released more frequently amid scrutiny, reveal the pressures tech giants face worldwide. Push token requests, used to identify devices and sometimes access message content, became public only after US political pressure. In H1 2024, Apple received 277 global push token requests, complying with 59%. In the US, compliance with these requests dropped sharply, from 88% to just 28%. Meanwhile, Apple reported zero compliance with US geofence warrants. The data shows a company navigating wildly different legal and political landscapes. Apple's China strategy: adapt or risk exclusion. Its global compliance record is a study in compromise and calculation. The stakes for privacy and market access have never been higher. Apple's golden age in China saw the iPhone become the ultimate status symbol. From 2016 to early 2024, Apple dominated the premium smartphone market, fueled by sleek design and a powerful brand. US sanctions on Huawei in 2019 created a vacuum at the high end. Apple filled it, enjoying 4 years of growth. The iPhone's appeal went beyond specs. It was about the seamless ecosystem and the prestige of owning an Apple device. Apple stores became landmarks, launches were major events, and brand loyalty soared. but China's market is fiercely competitive and always evolving. Local brands were learning fast, innovating, and adapting to shifting consumer tastes. The very factors that fueled Apple's rise, premium quality and a global strategy, would soon be tested. A new era was coming, driven by local innovation and changing technology. Apple's dominance was impressive, but the winds of change were gathering. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in China's smartphone landscape. The Chinese smartphone market shifted dramatically in late 2023 thanks to Huawei's stunning comeback. Huawei's Mate 60 series, powered by homegrown chips, reignited national pride and consumer interest. By early 2024, Apple lost its top spot in China for the first time in years. Apple's market share dropped to third place, behind Vivo and a resurgent Huawei. The decline was sharp. iPhone shipments fell 17% year-on-year, with a 25% plunge in Q4 2024. Analysts called it one of Apple's worst years in China. The twist? The overall Chinese smartphone market was actually growing, up 4% in 2024. Local brands like Huawei, Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo captured the renewed growth, posting double-digit shipment increases. Apple, once unshakable, was now losing ground fast. The message was clear: the competitive landscape had fundamentally changed. Local innovation and patriotic sentiment were reshaping the market. Apple was no longer the default choice for China's premium buyers. The era of easy dominance was over. By 2024, artificial intelligence became the new battleground in China's smartphone wars. Local brands raced ahead, integrating advanced AI features tailored to Chinese users, voice assistants, smart photography, and on-device generative AI. Their AI understood local dialects and connected seamlessly with Chinese apps, creating a deeply relevant user experience. Apple, meanwhile, lagged behind. Siri hadn't kept pace, and global AI services like ChatGPT weren't available in China. The result: Apple's lack of locally relevant AI became a glaring weakness. As local brands surged, Apple's market share slipped. The lesson was clear: innovation had to be local, not just global. Apple's AI troubles became public in early 2025 when its new AI app started generating bogus news alerts. The company quickly disabled the feature, but the damage was done. Apple's AI was seen as unreliable. These missteps, combined with falling China sales, rattled investors and sent Apple's stock down over 5%. The narrative shifted. Apple, once the innovation leader, was now playing catch-up in the AI race. The pressure was on to deliver a compelling, trustworthy AI strategy. Facing slumping sales, Apple broke tradition in January 2025, offering rare direct discounts on iPhone 16 models in China. The 4-day sale, with up to 500 yuan off, was joined by even steeper cuts from major e-commerce platforms. Deep discounting was uncharacteristic for Apple, signaling real concern over its market position. The timing, just before Lunar New Year, was strategic, aiming to reignite demand. For years, Apple relied on brand strength, not price wars. Now it was clear competition was fierce, and even Apple had to adapt. Whether this was a temporary move or a new normal remained to be seen. Apple's China journey is a masterclass in global business: ambition, adaptation, and hard lessons. The company's high compliance with Chinese data requests shows the tough trade-offs required for market access. The rise of local brands and Apple's AI lag reveal the risks of a one-size-fits-all strategy. In China, local innovation and national sentiment can topple even the mightiest global brands. Apple's experience is a warning. Success demands agility, local insight, and constant reinvention. The dragon's lesson is clear: global giants must adapt or risk being left behind. In the New World Order, even Apple can't afford to stand still.